Hello, welcome. In this lecture, we'll be understanding about the history of Jainism, the tradition of the Tirthankaras. Very important. We'll be understanding not just the history aspect, that is, how did this religion originate, what were the premises behind it, but we'll also be discussing about Tirthankaras in a great detail. What are they? Why are they important? Let's get started. The basic introduction to the school, that is Jainism. You see, Jainism is regarded to be one of the oldest religions of the world originating on the Indian soil, right? Where is this origin? Origin is pretty much on the Indian soil. It's our religion, right? Jainism has a rather rich history, not only because of its continuity of existence over the last, let's say, 2,500 years, but also because of its, so let's say there is continuity aspect that is very important, and along with the continuity aspect, what is equally important is that its unique contribution, to specially who, to the Indian philosophy. If you are slightly familiar about Indian philosophy, it's not called the Hindu philosophy, it's called the Indian philosophy. This is the philosophy of India. In this Indian philosophy, you will find schools which are both orthodox and heterodox. What I'm simply saying is you'll find schools which are both astic and nastic. Now, orthodox or astic is what? They are believing in the authority of the Vedas. Heterodox and Nastic are what? They are not believing in the authority of Vedas. So Jainism is rather unique, like Buddhism also, but we'll come to that later. Jainism is rather unique because of its contribution to the Indian philosophy. It has very importantly become an important school of the heterodox school of Indian philosophy. Is this bit clear? Now, you see, if we have to pinpoint the important contributions which have basically been made by the Jaina school in Indian philosophy, I would simply say that it's not just one or two things. It is, let's start with the very basic. It is, its unique contribution can be regarded to Indian philosophy in terms of its logic, in terms of its mathematics, okay, in terms of its art, in terms of its astronomy, and lastly, literature. These are some of the ways how Jainism has basically, I will only use the word, enriched the vast heritage of our Indian philosophy. Its special emphasis, when we talk about Jainism, the special emphasis amongst all these broad, spectrums that we have discussed is definitely going to be on ethical purity. Okay, it is going to be on religious tolerance. It is going to be on spiritual contentment and ecological protection. Now you can understand that primarily these aspects that we're discussing is dealing with which branch? It's dealing with the branch of ethics. Ethical purity, religious tolerance, spiritual contentment, ecological protection. Okay, so all of these are, if you look at it, very much the relevant topic of today's time. You see, I'm not just saying in the context of India, you can take in the context of any part of the world. Ethical purity, religious tolerance, spiritual contentment, ecological protection, especially this one. This is the need of the hour. These points are the need of the hour, and they're pretty much relevant in today's time as much as they were relevant back in then. Is this bit clear? Now, I told you like Buddhism, Jainism also. Why did I bring the another religion, Buddhism, in here? You see, Buddhism and Jainism have one common thing, or rather two common things amongst them. The first common thing is both of them are two important schools of Indian philosophy, and both of them are heterodox. They are both Gnostic schools of Indian philosophy. What is the second important thing which is common amongst these two? It is that they both arose. They both arose due to the opposition to the sacrificial Vedic religion. It is so important, I can't stress on this enough. Arose as a result to the opposition to the sacrificial Vedic religion. It was primarily seen as as a movement that started against the Vedic religion. If you know a little bit about Vedic religion, it was all about elaborate sacrifices. It was all about elaborate, rituals, sacrifices. Then, sacrificing of animals. There's so many things that were, elaborately done in the Vedic religion. Let's get into the details of this. You see, along with the demonstrations and everything, this elaborate ways of performing prayers and all of those things, there was also a very important aspect, which was that there was a domination of what? There was a domination of a certain class. And what is that? There was a domination of naturally the high caste. Okay, the domination of the high caste. It does not, both of these, Jainism and Buddhism, both of them do not believe in God or gods, okay, to whom we need to basically pray, to whom we need to please, nor do they accept that it is absolutely necessary for us to have the priestly class in the society. So are you seeing this? They firstly do not believe in God slash gods. Secondly, they both do not believe that there is, a need for our acceptance towards the role of the priestly class in society. And when I talk about the domination of a certain high caste, I mean the priests, okay, the priestly class. So both of these do not believe in this at all. They don't have a place in their philosophy for believing in the concept of God and also believing in the high status of a certain class or priestly class in the society. It has empowered its followers to be spiritually self-reliant. Very important word. What am I saying? I'm saying, especially Jainism, since we're discussing Jainism here, Jainism is primarily based on two, three very important premises. It is self reliance, it is self control, it is self discipline, okay? And if you look at it, all the work that needs to be done is not on a second person. It needs to be done on the self reliance, self control, self discipline. So you see, it has basically empowered the followers, the people who basically follow Jainism, to be what? To be spiritually self-reliant. To be spiritually self-reliant. This is the entire idea of Jainism. Everyone is, a maker of one's own destiny.